The pandemic has caused a sharp increase in anxiety and depression among teenagers. Here to tell us what parents can do to help, we welcome back parenting expert Yishai Busi. Hi, Yishai.
Hi, Helen.
So you are probably seeing a lot more clients, teenagers, who are experiencing depression, I bet.
I am. I absolutely am. What's really clear is that this pandemic has exacerbated symptoms. What was going on before has just gotten a lot worse.
Yeah.
And we're really seeing that in the research too, just across the country and the world, really. It's a problem.
Well, it makes sense if teenagers are more depressed because I bet their parents are more depressed.
Well, I mean, we are all been negatively impacted by this.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a starting point as a parent to just acknowledge. I mean, we're all have moments. Maybe it's a little bit, maybe it's a lot, but we're struggling with mild depression at times or anxiety. And there's no way that doesn't impact our kids. It's not about blaming or cause and effect, but that certainly has an impact. And we just have to have that humility and acknowledge that, like, I'm not always at my best as a parent, and give ourselves some grace because we're going through a hard time. And that's actually a connecting point with our kids. So they don't have to feel like it's so strange that they're going through a hard time. Like, we get it. And if we can work on solutions, that's important. But we can also relate to them and talk to them about how I get it. Like, I'm having moments too. This is hard. Let's get through this together.
How can you create a solution? Where do you go to get that solution?
Well, so there are different kinds of approaches. How do we help someone who's depressed,
right.
a kiddo who's depressed? And there are really there's all kinds of ways to look at this, but really it comes down to two things: thoughts and actions. Those are things that we can empower our kids to have influence of and control. Thoughts are things like thinking more positively, thinking about successes and wins throughout the day. Actions are things like, could be anything from journaling to hanging out with some different friends, to going for a walk each day. Sometimes it's even watching that YouTube video that makes us laugh can be positive. It's getting out of the house. It's actions. At the end of the day, getting over depression involves doing things. We have to take some action and support our kids and help them figure out what that's going to be. So thoughts and actions are the two things that we really got to support our kids with, because when we're depressed, we overthink, we ruminate is the term used, and we worry and we think negatively and the glass is half empty. And it's very, very hard to get out of that stuck spot.
So we need to figure out what we need more of and what we need less of.
Figuring out what we need more of. So another way to think about this is to as a parent, what do I need to do more of? So it could be my kid might need more family time. They might need more sleep. They might need more exercise. They might need more social time with other friends. And then sometimes, what do they need less of? They might need less of a certain toxic friendship. They might need less of social media. They might need, less of, there's a lot of sugar in the house,
right.
Whatever it might be. So more of, less of, and then what do we need to change? A lot of times we need to change limits and boundaries and rules and how we're looking at that, whether it's curfews, bedtimes, devices in the room. Sometimes we need to change things in terms of looking at a different kind of therapy or medication. What changes do we need to make? But to be clear, all of this should be done from a place of love and care, not punishment or being angry and consequences. It's about helping our kiddo if they're struggling with depression.
And you say to take their struggles seriously, but don't let it define them.
Yeah. So a lot of times, excuse me, one positive thing about this generation is they're very in touch with mental health. And so they're talking about it and researching it and looking at, there's quizzes all over the place. And sometimes it can get out of hand because they're, self-diagnosing, but they're comfortable with the language. Now, the drawback there is that they can so overly define as, I'm depressed. I'm just a depressed kid. And they hang out with, they're gonna be drawn to other depressed kids.
Oh, yeah.
And so what we need to really separate is, you feel depressed and that is real. We need to take that seriously, but that is not who you are. You are so much more than that. You are also creative still. You are also funny. You are also intelligent. You are also loyal and a great friend. And they have these glimmers and moments where they're not depressed. And we need to help them find that and broaden. You are not just depression. That does not define who you are. It's an important distinction.
You say there are two things that kids care about the most.
There are things, so as a parent, and I see this, working with teenagers so much, a lot of them will talk to me and they'll say, like, I'm cutting, I'm hurting myself, I'm really struggling, I'm depressed. And I'll say, have you talked to your parents about it? And they'll say no. And I'll ask them why. And they'll say it's not because they don't love their parents or trust their parents or they don't think their parents don't care. They don't want to worry their parents.
Yeah.
So one of the big things kids is they're not talking. As a parent, I'm talking to you right now. Your kids may not be talking to you because they don't want to worry you and stress you out more. They think you don't have room on your plate. So please make a point of going to your kiddo and letting them know, yes, I might be really busy. Yes, I do get stressed, but I will always make room for you and I can handle it. Because if they sense that you're going to overreact or flip out or get so anxious and they're not going to want to come to you and talk to you. So that's one of the main reasons that kids, one of the things they worry about, they don't want to worry and stress out their parents who they love a lot. And then they worry about school too. I'm going to fail grades. So as a parent, the other thing is let them know, we will take care of school. That'll take care of itself. We're going to prioritize your mental health. And I'm going to do whatever I need to. If I need to take off work, I'll do whatever, and it's okay. And the grades, if you have to, grades suffer temporarily, we'll get through it. Let's focus on taking care of you, and I can handle it.
Wow. Yeah, all excellent points. Ishai, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Helen. Great to see you.
Great to see you.